If you've ever had that midnight anxiety moment where you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, doing math in your head, thinking, I make decent money, so why do I still feel like I'm drowning? This video is for you. Because that feeling of making enough on paper but having no margin in real life, that's not just in your head. A lot of people are living exactly like that. Earning, spending, swiping, repeating. Credit card balances in the US have climbed to about $1.28 trillion. Average unpaid balances are often reported in the high $7,000 to roughly $8,000 plus range, and Americans are still saving only a small slice of income, roughly low single digits by official federal data, with consumer banking guidance often putting typical saving around 6 to 8%. So when people say the average person has about $9,000 in credit card debt and saves only 6%, that's not some wild exaggeration. It's basically the emotional truth of modern money. New York Fed, BEA, LendingTree, Chase. And here's the real problem. Most of what's keeping people broke looks completely normal. Not reckless, not crazy, normal. Fast food, car payments, subscriptions, vacations, financing furniture, upgrading tech, all the stuff that everybody does. But normal is not the same thing as harmless. So this is your financial wake-up call. Because money is not just money. Money is stored life energy. It's your time, your focus, your stress, your mornings, your commute, your weekends. It's basically stored battery life from your one finite human existence. And when you spend that battery life on junk you don't even care about a month later, you are working for free. Vicky Robin. Let's talk about the 10 normal things that are keeping you broke. Number 1. Fast food. Fast food is one of the easiest ways to stay broke without feeling broke, because it doesn't feel like a big decision. It feels like survival. You're tired, it's been a long day, and spending $14 here, $18 there, $11 on coffee and breakfast tomorrow morning, it all feels small. But small leaks sink ships. Reality check. If you spend $20 a day, 5 days a week on drive-through meals, coffee, and convenience snacks, that's about $100 a week. That's over $5,000 a year. That is not a food habit. That is a car repair fund, a Roth IRA contribution, or half of your first emergency fund. Identity trap. The trap here is emotional. You start telling yourself, I deserve this, and sometimes, honestly, you do. But when every stressful day ends in a purchase, you're not buying food anymore, you're buying relief. And relief is expensive when you rent it every day. You're not broke because of one burger. You're broke because convenience became your default lifestyle. Number 2. Car payments. This one hurts because car payments are so normalized that people say them out loud like they're weather. Yeah, my payment's only $780. Only? A car payment is one of the fastest ways to lock yourself into a life that looks successful but feels fragile. Reality check. Let's say you buy a $55,000 truck and finance it for 7 years. By the time you add interest, insurance, fuel, tires, maintenance, registration, and the fact that the thing is dropping in value while you drive it, that truck can easily eat up $120,000 to $130,000 over those 7 years. That means your nice truck is not a vehicle. It's a second rent payment with leather seats. Identity trap. A lot of people buy cars to signal stability, status, adulthood, or success. But looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. A wealthy person wants assets. A broke person wants impressive monthly payments. And the darkest part is people will bankrupt their future to get compliments from strangers at red lights. Number 3. Subscriptions. Subscriptions are the perfect broke maker because they are designed to be invisible. You don't feel them, they just happen. Streaming, music, premium apps, cloud storage, meal kits, fitness platforms, delivery memberships, free trials you forgot. The whole economy is now built around quietly draining your checking account. Reality check. If you're spending $150 a month across subscriptions, and a lot of households are over that without realizing it, that's $1,800 a year. Over 10 years, without even calculating investment growth, that's $18,000 gone. And the crazy part is, most people aren't even actively enjoying all of them. Identity trap. Subscriptions sell you a fantasy self. The person who meditates daily, the person who learns languages, the person who watches every documentary, the person who meal preps, the person who uses the premium features. But if you're paying for a fantasy version of yourself instead of building the real one, that's not self-improvement, that's identity billing. Number 4, designer clothing. Designer clothing is one of the oldest financial traps on earth, paying extra to look like you have money. And I get it, clothes are emotional. They affect confidence. They affect how you feel in a room. But there is a difference between dressing well and financing your insecurity through fabric. Reality check. If you spend extra $250 to $300 a month chasing labels, drops, shoes, handbags, or treat yourself outfits, that's $3,000 to $3,600 a year. That's not style, that's savings evaporation. Identity trap. The identity trap here is brutal. If I look successful, I'll feel successful. But real wealth is not visible on a body. It's visible in your options. The person with no debt, 6 months of expenses, and money invested can wear a plain black t-shirt and be wealthier than the person dripped out head to toe in logos. Luxury signals are often just camouflage for financial stress. Number 5, tech upgrades. A lot of adults now live like every year requires a new screen. New phone, new watch, new earbuds, new tablet, new laptop, new TV, new gadget that makes life easier. Meanwhile, the old one worked just fine. Reality check. Upgrading your phone every 1 to 2 years, adding accessories, warranties, device protection, and monthly financing can quietly become $1,500 to $2,500 every couple of years. Stretch that pattern across a decade, and you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars spent staying slightly more current than necessary. Identity trap. The trap is tying your self-worth to being current. You don't want outdated tech because outdated feels like falling behind, but real wealth is not visible on a body. You don't need to prove you're modern every September. If your phone upgrade is financed while your emergency fund is empty, you're not buying technology. You're buying a temporary feeling of relevance. 6. Furniture financing. Furniture stores are experts at turning impatience into debt. No money down. 0% interest, low monthly payments. And suddenly you've financed a couch, a bed frame, 2 end tables, and a rug like you're taking out a small mortgage on your living room. Reality check. A $4,000 to $6,000 furniture purchase can become much more expensive if you miss the promo window, trigger deferred interest, or keep rolling payments. And even when the promo is legitimate, you still used tomorrow's money to impress today's guests. Identity trap. Furniture financing is often about trying to skip stages. You want your apartment to look like a finished adult life before your finances can actually support one. But there is nothing shameful about mismatched furniture, Facebook Marketplace finds, or taking time to build your home slowly. Poor people buy the room. Wealthy people buy time. 7. Vacations. Vacations are wonderful. Rest matters, memory matters, joy matters. But broke people have been taught that every year requires an expensive escape they haven't paid for yet. That's not rest. That's emotional borrowing. Reality check. A $4,000 or $5,000 vacation put on a credit card is not a $5,000 vacation. If it takes you a year or two to pay off, it may cost far more once interest gets done with you. And the worst part is coming home from a beach to a balance. Identity trap. The trap is this belief that I need this to feel alive. Maybe, but maybe what you actually need is margin. Because a vacation funded by debt is just a future panic attack wearing sunglasses. Take trips, absolutely, but build a life that doesn't require escape every 90 days just to feel okay. 8. The 2 income trap. This one is important because I want to be careful here. The problem is not that two people work. The problem is when a household quietly builds a lifestyle that requires both incomes at full speed all the time, with no margin for illness, layoffs, pregnancy, burnout, or life. That's the trap. And exhausted households often spend more just to survive. Takeout, delivery, convenience groceries, house cleaning, emergency babysitting, last-minute everything. That's real. That's not laziness. That's exhaustion expense. Reality check. A second income can be powerful, but it can also get swallowed by childcare, commuting, wardrobe, convenience food, outsourcing domestic labor, and a bigger lifestyle that rose to meet the new paycheck. So instead of creating freedom, the second income becomes the glue holding up a life that would collapse if one person slowed down. That's the core warning behind the two-income trap. Households become more economically exposed, not less, when every dollar is already spoken for. Basic books. Identity trap. The identity trap is we make good money, so we should live like this. No, you should live like people who want options. If both incomes are required for the basics, then you are not thriving. You are running a two-engine plane with no altitude. 9. Generic versus brand name. This sounds small, it's not. A lot of people don't think they overspend because they don't buy yachts or Rolexes. They just buy the premium version of almost everything. Brand name groceries, brand name medicine, brand name cleaning supplies, brand name basics. And over time, death by 1,000 markups is still death. Reality check. If going generic saves you even $30 to $40 a week, that's $1,500 to $2,000 a year. And for a lot of families, it's more than that. That's real money. That's not coupon madness. That's a systems upgrade. Identity trap. The trap is that people associate brand names with quality, taste, or dignity. But sometimes brand loyalty is just expensive autopilot. You do not need to pay premium prices for bleach, ibuprofen, shredded cheese, or cereal to prove you've made it. Sometimes the most powerful wealth move is boring. Same function, lower price, no drama. 10. Credit card normalcy. This is the big one. We live in a culture where carrying credit card debt is treated like adult background noise, like it's just part of life. It is not. It is a tax on being stuck. Reality check. If you carry $9,000 on a credit card at around 24% interest, you can lose thousands of dollars to interest alone, especially if you only make minimum or near minimum payments. That means you are working real hours at your real job to pay for purchases you already forgot making. That is what debt does. It turns your past impulses into your present labor. Identity trap. The identity trap is simple. Everyone has credit card debt. Maybe, but normal debt is still destructive debt. Normal can still keep you anxious. Normal can still keep you trapped. Normal can still keep you broke. If everybody around you is broke in a socially acceptable way, following the crowd is not safety, it's synchronization. So what's the answer? Not becoming a monk, not never having fun, not living on rice and beans forever, not shaming yourself for every mistake. The answer is building a new identity, the saver identity. A saver is not someone who never spends. A saver is someone who understands that every dollar has a job and not every urge deserves funding. A saver knows money is stored battery life. A saver wants margin more than image. A saver wants peace more than performance. And the first huge milestone, the one that changes everything emotionally, is $10,000 saved. Because at zero, a car breakdown feels like a catastrophe. At $10,000, it becomes a mild annoyance. At zero, your nervous system is always on fire. At $10,000, you can finally breathe. That first stack of cash doesn't make you rich, but it does something almost better. It lowers the panic. It reduces the cortisol. It gives you breathing room. It gives you proof that your life is no longer a one flat tire away from chaos. That is the shift. That is when you stop acting like a consumer and start acting like a builder. So if you needed a sign, this is it. Stop calling broke behavior normal. Stop worshiping convenience. Stop buying status with money you haven't kept. Stop spending your life energy on things that don't love you back. And remember,
Stop buying stuff you don't need to impress people you don't like.